What's up YouTube? My name's Kevin. Hope you're having a wonderful day and welcome to Game Center. Today's topic is going to be the game Prey. Prey was originally a game that came out in 2006 and was developed by Arcane Studios. Now, in 2017, this game has been rebooted to run in our next-gen consoles and PC. I'm first going to start off by talking about the graphics. My initial reaction was that they were incredible, but then as I kind of ventured off into the dark corridors, it kind of got a bit dull and a bit repetitive. And it's not very good in a game like this because the developers are always trying to keep you on your toes, always looking out. And honestly, this game does a great job with that. I mean, I found myself hitting every single little object with a wrench as I walked through the room. If you are going to download the demo, which I am playing right now, don't worry, the game will get better. The first hour is pretty much all the same. You get a bit of story here and there, just for the background. But then it's like, yeah, I've done this already. You walk through the room and you hit every single object and then you're out. And then you walk to another room and then you do the same thing. But then as you get introduced into new characters, new bosses, it does get pretty fun. And I promise, after you get through the first 1 or 2 hours of the game, you will really enjoy yourself. But if you're not that kind of player, the kind of player who sits around a bit until action gets ready, you're that kind of player that just goes in, guns blazing, this is not the type of game for you. This game gives you many options. You can sneak around, you can go head on with guns, as I was saying. But sometimes you can't just attack a monster, because especially in lower levels at that, you're gonna find yourself weaker than most of them. And well, let me just tell you, you are going to have a lot of trial and error in this game. This game also tries to jump scare you, which kinda works, but not really. I mean, I found myself getting scared of the sound effect way more than the actual monsters that jump out at you. I saw a monster through the door, and you just hear the boom music, and it would scare you more than the actual monster, and that's kinda sad. You don't want to be scared by the music of the game, you want to be scared by the actual monsters. Also, the sound effects are a bit off sometimes. I mean, you would hear the music or the sound effect, and you're just like, where is it? And you look around, there's nothing. And that's kind of crappy. I mean, you get scared for nothing, and then this monster is probably turned into a cup or something. And then you have to go hit every single object in the room to find it. And it's kind of a long process. For most players, I don't know if they'll enjoy it. If you're like fast-paced FPSs, this will not be yours. And it also kind of fails at being a horror game. I mean, it very well tries, and there are some pretty scary monsters in that game. But you can't compare it to something like Outlast, where it is actually pretty scary, and you're always on your toes. Okay, I hear you. I'm gonna stop rambling about how bad the game is, and actually talk about the few things that I like in it. Okay. Thank you very much, Arcane Game, for making this such a detailed game. You can literally pick up every single object in the game, and you would think it's kind of stupid, but it is super fun. You would go to games like Grand Theft Auto, and they're like, oh, this is super realistic, but then you can't interact with anything. In this game, you can. You can break glass and the monster will come at you. It honestly has so many little details and little features that make it absolutely amazing. And also, your actions, your choices, everything you do in the game, it'll result to different endings as you go on and as you progress. Which, for players that like to get 100% of every single game they play, you're gonna probably find yourself going back quite a few times. Another thing is that as you progress and your character, Morgan, kinda gets introduced a bit more, he doesn't really talk or doesn't really give you much information or background. He just kinda stands there and hears people talk and listen and follows directions, which isn't very cool of a character, and he's not very memorable. And that kinda sucks. I mean, you'd at least think there would be a memorable character in there. One last thing I'd like to complain about is the combat. It can be a bit hectic from time to time, but it's always so slow and not very actiony, if that's a word. Alright, so I know you heard me ramble about this game for a while now, and honestly it's not that bad, but it wasn't my favorite game in the world. You could try the demo right now for about an hour of the game, see how it feels, and consider buying it maybe. I wouldn't, cause a full-fledged $60 game should have a bit more content. I don't know, that's just my opinion. But we have reached the end of the video. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. And I've been Kevin. I'll see you next time. Bye.